And back then, I didn't sleep in the car because
Right.
I was a freak and didn't nap or do anything.
You didn't nap at all until you met me.
Yeah. I was about to say something so bad, but it was like not about you.
Excuse me?
Because I was about to say, well, life got hard when I met you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. You dickhead.
But I didn't mean it like that. I just mean now I have a rough job.
Also because of me, you dickhead. You're so not nice.
That's not because of you.
I have that on recording.
I'm leaving them alone.
I watched you wiggle one of them.
I was leaving them alone.
How do you leave something alone while you're touching it?
Because I'm not pulling on it. I'm just touching it.
That's not leaving it alone.
I'm leaving it where it is. I'm just flopping it around.
Until it accidentally rips off there?
It's not going to rip off of there because I would cry if it did.
Keeping my eyes on you.
Listen, today I had an ingrown hair and I thought it was a zit and I went to like pop it and I ripped one of my scabs off and I like wanted to die.
I hate every part of that.
Yeah, I wanted to die because like I never ripped the scabs off, so.
See, I have a thing about scabs. I always want to rip them off. But I don't with tattoos for some reason.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, this is Carrie.
And I'm JT.
And welcome back to episode 9 of All Marbles Lost. One more episode and we're in double digits, buddy.
That's crazy.
We're really making it happen.
And I always think like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's been 8 weeks or 2 months or however long, but it really hasn't because we put out 3 episodes to begin with.
Correct. Because it's been like a month and like a week because we started on July 4th.
Oh, did we really?
Our first recording was on July 4th weekend.
No, I don't think I realized that.
I think we released it like, I don't know, like that next weekend maybe?
Maybe, because we recorded a bunch before we released anything.
Yeah. How are you, buddy?
We left work early today, so I'm good.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. First day back from vacation is the worst.
Oh, yeah. It was... Well, it wasn't the worst. It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
People are just annoying, and I forgot how annoying they were.
Forgot how bad my job actually sucked.
Yeah, also, it was so hot for no reason.
Well, there is a reason. It's because half of our air conditioners work.
Well, it was, like, ungodly hot.
Yeah.
And it's not even that hot outside. It's only, like, 70-some degrees.
I know. It was so nice outside.
And it felt like it was 100 degrees inside of work.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Speaking of work, listen, we have a new problem solver, which is like basically my boss at work. And he is the nicest guy I've ever met in my life, right? The kindest man I've literally ever met. And he, like, is older. How old do you think he is?
I would say, like, in his 40s.
Yeah, like late 40s, early 50s. Like, he's
Yeah.
got gray hair. Well, he always shares, like, he brings in snacks and stuff all the time. Like, he always gives me, like, candy, and he gave us mini cheesecakes one day, which was, listen, it made my day greater than anything I've ever dealt with, but, well, I noticed, like, a couple weeks ago, this man has an ankle monitor on. And I was thinking, I'm like, what did my mans do? I'm like, he is the kindest person. So I asked Kendall, because Kendall knows everything.
Again, we're talking about Kendall.
Yes.
I swear we're going to mention Kendall in every episode.
Oh, we're eventually, like, when we start getting emails, I bet they say, like, hi, Carrie, hi, JT, hi, Kendall, because Kendall basically lives here.
Yeah.
Well, I asked her, I was like, what the fuck is up with this? She's also worked there, like, several years longer than I have, so she has more tea on everybody. And she's like, oh, yeah, he was a big-time drug dealer. And I was like, what the fuck? And, yeah, he was a big-time drug dealer, apparently. And I'm like, so at least twice a week I accept candy from a drug dealer. All right. But, yeah, that's where my marbles are. Where are yours?
Just happy to be at home.
Yeah, that's always the best.
Sad that we have to go back to work tomorrow and that we're definitely going to have to stay all day because...
And the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
But we get to go on vacation this weekend, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you guys hear this, we will probably be sitting in a cabin in Tennessee.
Dude, our listeners probably think we're nuts.
What?
We've done nothing but go places since we started the podcast.
No, where have we gone?
Well, there was my birthday party and then your birthday party, and now we're going to Tennessee, and we've talked about how we're going to Florida, and...
We just travel a lot, okay?
But we normally don't, is the problem. It's literally, it started at my birthday and hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
Hit me up this winter when I'm not doing anything again. Oh, and speaking of Florida, I need all the people of planet Earth to keep your fucking germs to yourself. Because yes. I'm sick of it.
Because we want to go to Florida, and if we don't get to go to Florida because of COVID, we are going to be very upset.
And it's not even like I want to go to Florida to party. I want to go to Florida and not fucking speak to a soul on there.
Yeah. Like, I just want to go sit on the beach and do nothing.
I have never been to Florida.
It's so nice.
So I'm gonna make a request here for all my people. Keep your COVID to yourself. I that's all I got. That's my PSA. Keep your germs to your fucking self. Also, we had to go back to masks at work, which is not a big deal. I don't really give a shit. I'll wear the mask. It's not the mask wearing that bothers me. It's the fact that everyone we work with feels the need to climb inside of my ear, take their mask off, and spit all over me when they talk to me.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Like, it is very difficult to find a person who doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's my supervisor likes to talk into people's eyeballs.
Yeah, she's very bad about that.
Yeah.
Like, every time she tries to talk to me, I'm like, am I about to get jumped? Like, you're in my pants with me.
Well, she's like that even without the mask, so...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, everybody keep your germs to yourself. Don't talk into people's eyeballs. I don't know what to tell you.
I know, I always feel bad when we kick them out when we record, but Echo just walks around and sniffs everything. I did get a cute picture of him laying like a frog, though, so I will post that for you guys. You can see Fiona in there, but...
Well, that's fine. Everybody probably thinks we're nuts for all the Lego that we have in here, because I'm sure it's been seen in, like, the background of our pictures.
I might post a room tour on Patreon.
Yeah, we could.
I have a downer case for you today, but, like, she lived.
Yes, I don't even remember what you're telling me about this week, so... Actually, never mind, I just remembered.
Well, forget it, because I'm laying down the facts for you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about Mary Vincent.
I'm already sad.
She is an artist and a women's advocate. And she was born in 1963. She was the middle child out of 7 children. Which, that's a fucking lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That is a lot. Me having so many siblings, I know that's a lot, but, like, I know you can't even fathom it.
Also, I didn't realize how old she was now. Like, for some reason, I thought that this story happened, like, in the 90s, and she was still relatively young.
No, I have her age in here. Let me find it.
You said she was born in, like, 60-something, right?
63, I think. She's 58.
Wow. So that's what I was thinking, because I was like, oh, so she's, like, older than my parents.
Yes.
That's crazy to me. I don't know why, but that's crazy.
See, I always thought it happened, like, earlier than it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I thought she was older than she is. She was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, and her father was a military man, but I also read that he was a mechanic. So I think he was retired military.
Okay, I was going to say those can go hand in hand. I mean, he could be a mechanic in the military.
True. My thinking was that he, like, came home from work at night. But I mean, I guess if they lived on base or something, but I think it would have said that.
Yeah. And
her mother was a blackjack dealer. And I'm interested.
How iconic is that?
Yeah, like, how do you get into that profession? What does it entail? What's the pay like? I'm just curious. Just looking for something new. Something to spice my life up.
Yeah, you're gonna be a blackjack dealer?
No. I don't even know how to play blackjack.
I don't either. One time, I think it was for my birthday, I went to a escape room that was casino themed.
You didn't make it, did you?
No, because I didn't realize that we had to know how to play fucking casino games to get out of the escape room. I just thought that it would be, like, casino themed.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I thought that the room would be casino
right.
themed, but not, like, the actual puzzles
It wouldn't
themselves.
be the theme of the actual escaping. You're creating a wonderful blooper reel for the people. Is that like what you're supposed to do? Like when you like take negative things and make them positive affirmations or whatever? You are making a wonderful blooper reel.
I actually have two things to say.
I have two things to hear.
The first thing is about what you said about positive affirmation or whatever, because like at work today I was trying to, I don't know, talk myself out of all my problems. And I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe mental health really is just all in your head. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to convince myself that all of my problems don't exist. And that lasted for about 0.5 seconds.
I'm surprised it lasted the 5 seconds.
But also back to escape rooms. So the coolest escape room that I've ever done ever, I know we're so off track right now.
It's fine.
Was one where before you go in, they blindfold you.
Oh no, I'm out already.
So, this escape room.
Yes.
They blindfold you outside of the room. Then they lead you into the room and they handcuff you to a table.
I don't like it.
It's like so immersive to the point that like we had to lift up the table and like move it with us to get the key, and then we had to like pass the key along and like get the handcuffs undone. Have you ever done an escape room?
I have not.
They're so fun. We need to do one.
I feel like if they blindfolded me and handcuffed me to a table, I would not have fun.
Well, I mean, you get to choose that. Like, we chose that.
So you're all psychopaths. We have a true crime podcast, and you're going to willingly let someone handcuff you to a table?
Yeah.
Dude, John Wayne Gacy would love you.
There's one, I think it's like airplane themed. I don't know what it has to do with the theme, but you're all handcuffed together. Like everybody that's in the room with you, you're all handcuffed together.
See, that's not cute.
Being handcuffed to strangers, not the greatest thing.
I would much rather be handcuffed to a stranger than a lot of the people in my family. Imagine me and Aaron being handcuffed together.
That would be funny.
For you, we would beat the hell out of each other.
We could survive being handcuffed together.
Yeah, that's different. I chose you. I didn't choose her.
I was going to say, that's essentially how we've existed for like 2 years, so...
Don't get me wrong, Erin. I love you. I know she listens.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she listens while she's at work.
Oh, I didn't know that she, like, was actually up to date.
I don't know if she's up to date or not, but she listens. She'll text me in 3 months and be like, oh, you wouldn't be handcuffed to me, bitch? And I won't even remember what the hell she's talking about. And that's just cold, hard truth.
Anyway, what were you talking about?
We were discussing her mother being a blackjack dealer. That was as far as we got.
Oh, that's where we got?
Yeah, that's as far as we got.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to disappoint a lot of people in my family right now, but I don't even know how to play poker.
I don't think I do either.
My family has like a monthly poker game.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I don't go because I don't know how to play.
We could learn.
I'd get my ass beat by everyone in my family.
We would get your ass beat?
Yes, we collectively will get my ass beat by my family because they won't beat you because they love you.
They love you too.
Yes, but we're not married yet, so you can't be abused.
Oh, great. Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot that stipulation in the proposal. My family will bully you relentlessly.
That's okay.
Leave it to me to make a murder podcast all about me once again. I'll take it back to Mary now.
Okay.
Mary danced competitively and dreamed of traveling the world as a performer. So automatically that puts her on like bad bitch level 9,000.
Okay. Why do I feel like people who are dancers always end up having bad things happen to them?
I think it's because dancers have to push themselves so hard. Like, because a lot of, like, dancers get injured.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mary Vincent did get injured, but...
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, being a dancer never ends well. That's all I have to say.
I, like, thought for a quick second I wanted to be a dancer, and then I actually, like, did it, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
You don't have the grace for that. Like, no offense to you.
But you... fucking rude to begin with.
But you don't.
Fucking rude. Ask my mother. I was a wonderful little ballerina in my yellow tutu, so don't talk about it.
Well, okay, you don't have the grace now.
I have a lot of grace, okay? I, like, don't have a good segue here, so just be like that.
A good segue, if you will.
No segues for me.
I love that word so much, and I think about it way too often.
Segue?
Segue.
Segue, darling.
Yeah, but segue.
You just like how funny, and that's why we drink is.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Derailed again. Back to Mary Vincent.
Okay.
So Mary wasn't very close with her parents, and this leads into why Mary got into the situation to begin with. Not blaming her parents, but it's just a fact that her and her parents did not have a good relationship. And she recalled leaving home, like, in a hurry one day because her sister had told her that their father was coming home with a migraine and was mad at her, like mad at Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of quotes from Mary because Mary did a couple interviews like right after. So there's a lot of quotes in this one. And she said, "I left home to save my life. It wasn't to seek wild times." So I don't know if there was abuse happening.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounded like to me, too. Because I don't know if it was like, I left home to save my life because my dad was going to beat the shit out of me, or because my dad was making my life miserable.
Or, I mean, maybe he's just an angry dude.
Right, like, I don't know if it was affecting, like, her mental health, and she was like, I have to fucking leave. Or if it was like, I have to fucking leave because my dad beats the shit out of me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, either way, it's not a good time. I just don't have the details on Mary. She would just, like, kind of roam the streets a lot, which was very common at this time.
That's so odd.
Yeah, because she was 15 in 78. So the 70s were known for, like, hitchhiking and drifters and transient and just...
It's crazy to me that, like, in the early 1900s that, like, 8-year-olds just walked around.
Yes. I think about that a lot because My Favorite Murder talks about how they were latchkey kids.
Mm-hmm.
I could never. My mom used to think I was going to sneak out at night, so she painted my windows shut. I didn't learn that until after I moved out.
You still snuck out, though, didn't you?
No.
Oh, for some reason I thought you did.
Huh, I never snuck out.
No, I didn't either, but for some reason I thought you did.
No, I'm a very uneventful child.
You're a pretty eventful child. Just not in that regard.
I guess, I suppose. No, I really, like, didn't do much without, like, my mom knowing where I was.
Well, also I feel like your mom, like, gave you a lot of leeway.
I was also, like, the least cool kid ever. But I didn't let anybody know that.
What do you mean?
Like, I remember specifically I went to this party and it was a set of twins I went to school with. I loved them both to death. They were both fantastic. We were over there. There was a bunch of us, a bunch of people from my grade, a couple of people from a grade above me. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we've got beer. You want a beer?" And I was like, "No, I don't. I'm good." Like, and then I texted my mom and said, "You need to tell me to come home." And I deleted that text message so that when she texted me and said it's time to come home, I could be like, "Sorry guys, my mom needs me. I have to leave." And then I walked my ass home.
Is that, you talked about the one party that you had been to? Was that your one party?
No, because I didn't count that as a party because as soon as they brought out alcohol, I fucking left. And I was younger than 16 because I didn't have my license.
Oh, fair.
But I literally was, like, such a lame kid that there was going to be beer, and instead of just saying, like, "No, I don't want any," I fucking left.
You're like, "No, I don't want any, and also I have to leave."
Literally.
I mean, I was the same way. I would have been like, all right, I gotta go.
But the fact that I didn't ask anybody to come pick me up, I just texted my mom and said, tell me I have to come home. She didn't question it at all. She just said, I think it's time to come home.
And then you just walked?
Yeah, I went up to Autumn. I'm like, hey, my mom just texted me, she needs me to come home. I have to go.
I wonder if they know that that's why you left. Or do you think they never figured it out?
I don't think so, because I think I played it off really well. You know what I mean? I waited the appropriate amount of time. I really planned it out.
I mean, you're a good liar, which sounds weird, but, you are. Which
is so funny, because I, don't have a reason to lie. You know what I mean?
You can literally come up with them, on the spot, though.
I'm good under pressure.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not a liar. I'm good under pressure.
Okay, I don't know if you're helping your case much, but continue.
We're gonna go back to Mary now. We're not roasting me alive anymore.
Okay.
So, when she wasn't at her parents' house, she kind of just lived on the streets. Some of the articles I read said she would sleep in unlocked cars.
How does that work?
I don't know. That's so scary to think about.
Because then once somebody comes to investigate their car, what do you do?
Get out of it, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but, how do you not get arrested?
I don't know. Is it... If you don't damage anything, is it illegal?
Yeah.
What is it?
Breaking and entering.
It was unlocked.
I don't know. I'm sure there's something that's
I know, but what is it?
I don't know.
Because, is it trespassing?
We're gonna get derailed again. Keep going.
I'm already derailed, buddy. Okay, so in September of 1978, she decides she's going to hitchhike to her grandfather's house in Berkeley, California. September 29th, Mary is walking, and she has two other hitchhikers that are, with her, they're not together, they just happen to be walking, the same general direction.
Okay.
And they're all standing on the side of the road when 50-year-old Lawrence Singleton, a former merchant marine seaman, pulled over in a blue van. And he tells them he has room for one, and he offers Mary a ride. But the other two people that are with Mary notice the van is empty. But he says he only has room for one, and he only has room for Mary.
That would be immediately sketch, and I'd be like, all right, nope.
Which... Mary had that gut instinct, but she said that she was so exhausted and overwhelmed that she just accepted the ride. She said she reasoned with herself that he was old enough to be her grandfather, and he looked very grandfatherly, open and kind and smiles. So she reasoned with herself that, he wasn't going to hurt her. You know what I mean?
I guess, but that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, in hindsight, yeah, but this was also 78.
Yeah.
So PSA, trust no motherfucker on this earth.
Fuck politeness.
Fuck politeness. I don't know what podcast I got that from. I think it's My Favorite Murder.
It is My Favorite Murder.
They make pins and everything about it. But yeah, hopping right on that train with Georgia and Karen, fuck politeness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do not have to be nice. It could save your life to be a bitch.
That's a quote.
I'm pretty sure I got that from My Favorite Murder too.
Really?
That's not mine.
I was hoping it was yours.
I would love it to be mine, but it's not. Singleton told Mary... Sorry, I use last names for perpetrators and first names for victims. I don't know why. That's just what I be doing in my pea brain. So Lawrence Singleton tells her that he will take her to Interstate 5. Obviously, I don't know anything about the West Coast. I don't know anything about how close Berkeley is to I-5, but that's how far that he said he would take her.
Okay.
A quote from her about getting in the van. She said, "I wasn't a daredevil or anything. I was just desperate to get home. I could not live another day out alone. I didn't think about what type of person he was or the situation. I was tired." Which is so, hard to hear.
Yeah.
Because she was 15 at this time. I heard in some places she was 14 and some that she was 15. Either way, she's a teenager. She's not even old enough to drive a car.
Yeah, that's rough.
But Mary said that Singleton was kind to her the whole time and he made her comfortable. I read in some articles that he tried to flirt with her and she obviously didn't reciprocate it.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
I read that in 2 of the places that I, read, because I read every article I could get my grubby little fingers on. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to throw it in there, just in case it was correct. At some point during the drive, though, Mary falls asleep.
Bad move.
Bad move. Don't get in the car with strangers. Don't fall asleep in the car with strangers. Very scary. When she wakes up, she realizes they are not going in the right direction. I believe they were headed east when they obviously were supposed to be going west or south or southwest or something.
Any other direction.
Any other fucking direction besides the way they were going.
Yes.
And obviously Mary brings it up. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he just makes excuses. He, plays it off. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I just made a wrong turn. I didn't mean to. And he turns the van around and starts going back in the other direction. Which, it's sus. Everything's sus. But that hindsight is 20 bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So a couple more miles down the road, Singleton stops for a bathroom break. And he's just going to piss off the side of the highway. Because that's what boys do. I wish I was capable. And Mary is looking around and she notices that one of her shoes is untied. And that worries her because she obviously now knows that Singleton is sus as fuck.
Yeah.
And so she's thinking she might have to, get away from him, quickly. So she pops open her door and she gets out under the guise that she's just, stretching her legs. Well, she bends down to tie her shoe. Do you know what that means?
Why are you staring at me?
Because when she bends down to tie her shoe, Singleton hits her over the back of the head with a sledgehammer.
No, I didn't remember that.
And when she wakes back up, she is tied up in the back of the van. I read that her hands were tied together, and I also read that they were tied to the corners of the van.
Okay.
I read that she was, spread eagle in the back of the van, but I also read that, her hands and her feet were tied together. Either way, she is immobile.
I thought that her hands and feet were tied together.
That's what I've always heard. That is what I thought, too, but an article I read specifically stated that her hands were tied to the corners of the van.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm not sure which one is correct there, because each source, had something a little bit different.
Is that even possible? I guess that's possible, because, if I spread my arms, I could probably touch both sides of a car, so I guess that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to think, if you laid in the bed of our truck.
Yeah, it just seems really big to me. I don't really know why.
Like the inside of a van?
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, her hands don't have to be touching the walls.
Yeah. Okay, continue. I'm just pondering my own...
Well, I'd actually like to continue this rant because it gets a little ugly.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just get through
it.
So
just do So just going to put a little content warning right here. If you're sensitive to certain topics, skip 15 seconds ahead now. So the entire night, he raped and sodomized her.
No thanks. I hate that.
Yeah. Okay, skippers, come back to me. The next morning, Mary is begging him to let her go, set her free. I believe she said, "Set me free, I won't tell anyone." And he looks her in her eyes and says, "If you want to be set free, I'll set you free." Which is so fucking ominous.
Yeah. Because you have no idea what that means.
Exactly. Well, Singleton picks up a hatchet at this point. And he takes his first swing at her left arm. And he severs it just below her elbow. So, right here. Apparently, he was doing this to prevent her from being identified. Because he obviously didn't think she was going to survive this. And this is a quote from Mary about this happening. "He took my left arm and took one swing, and I started to fall. And then he took another swing, and I grabbed his arm. I grabbed it real tight. I couldn't figure out, holding him real tight on his arm, but I'm still falling." Because she grabbed his arm with her right arm, and he swung the hatchet and cut off her other arm at about the same place.
I always thought she was, her arms were cut at the shoulders. Okay.
No, it was her left arm, I know for sure, was right below her elbow. And I don't know if the right arm is above the elbow or below the elbow, but she has, like, her shoulder and, like, the top portion of her arm.
Okay.
I just don't know if her right arm is above or below the elbow, but it's, like, right around her elbow.
Then that makes the rest of the story, like, I know I'm not going to spoil anything.
Oh, you're fine.
Like, I know that you're going to get to it. Like, that makes the rest of the story make more sense to me.
Yeah, because I understand thinking about it if she had no arms.
Yeah,
it would be very... Yeah.
I've always thought that she had absolutely no arms, and that's why it was, like, the craziest thing. I mean, it's still crazy, but, like, it was crazy when I heard the story.
Yeah, just to think about what all she does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what had happened was that she grabbed his arm with her right arm, and he just swung the hatchet and cut her arm off while it was still holding on to him.
That would have to be a powerful swing.
Yes, and a very sharp hatchet.
Yeah.
Because as she was falling backwards, once she got far enough backwards, she looked and her arm was still holding on to his arm.
Mm.
Yeah, I couldn't. I would cease existing immediately.
If I was either of them, I would cease existing. Because imagine... First off, you have to imagine chopping somebody's arm off, which no sane person should do. But imagine then that you have a severed arm holding onto your arm.
Yeah, because he would have had to pry each one of her fingers off of his arm.
No, he didn't.
And also, this is just my little morbid brain. Where the fuck did he put her arms?
Does it not, like...
No.
I guess whatever he pleases.
But, like, they never found them.
So he probably kept them. Or burned them, or did something with them.
That is so ominous. That means he put her fucking arms in his van and drove away with them.
Yeah.
After he thought she was dead.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no words.
I can't handle it. Like, I can't handle it. Did he go home and mount them? Like a deer head? I'm very concerned. And why did nobody fucking ask what he did with her goddamn arms?
I'm sure you could find it out there somewhere.
I'm not sure that I want to look.
Just Google, what happened to... Is her name Mary Vincent?
Yes.
What happened to Mary Vincent's
Where
arm?
are Mary Vincent's arms now? Okay. Derailed once again. Apologies. Let me take you back. So Mary obviously goes fucking limp because she's like, where are my fucking arms?
Yeah.
Well, he assumes that she either died or she is bleeding out and actively dying. So he scoops her up off the ground, walks to the edge of the road, and throws her body off of a 30-foot embankment by the highway.
Yeah, I've got no words.
Yeah, I'm just... Like, I wrote these fucking notes, and I'm still looking at them, like, mouth open, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine myself falling down an embankment, let alone being thrown.
Also, rocks.
Yeah. Rocks. That's period. That's it.
Yeah, rocks. That's all I have to say.
Because if you logistically think about it, like, when you're falling, you are aware that you're about to hit the ground.
Yeah.
So you can do something about it. First of all, she was thrown, so she wasn't ready.
And she doesn't have
Second,
arms.
yeah, she doesn't have any fucking arms. I just maxed my mic out. Like, I know for a fact I did.
That's okay.
So, she can't brace herself. She literally can't do anything.
This is proof that it truly takes a lot to kill somebody.
Yeah. I am not a survivor. It would not take that much to kill me. I get a paper cut and I'm like, God, take me.
Yeah, my luck, I would just, like, disintegrate on the spot. Somebody would cut my arm off. I'd be like, all right.
There's no with my luck. If someone tried to cut my arm off, that's what I want. I want to be Thanos snapped off of this planet so fast. So fast. I have a lot to live for, too. Like, I have a lot going for me, and I couldn't do it. I can't. I could not fucking do it. This woman is the baddest bitch.
We need to make merch that says, like, not a survivor.
I'm not a survivor.
Yeah.
That's why I run a true crime podcast, so that I can be aware of all the things that murderers try to do. So I just keep my eyeballs peeled for them, because I'm not a survivor.
You're just in their brain.
I cannot be a victim, because I won't be a victim, because I will kill myself. Once again, I made it all about me. Back to Mary. She lands 30 feet below in a concrete culvert off of Interstate 5.
What is that?
They're like the really, really big pipes. Like the drainage pipes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she landed like in here. Like outside of it.
Okay, but she should have died.
Yes. So she bounced 30 feet down some rocks and landed in a concrete culvert.
Yeah, she should be dead.
This is what Mary said about it. He threw me off a cliff. I should have broken bones. I should have bled to death. I didn't. And I never passed out. I remember everything. I wanted to give up and go to sleep, but I felt someone there with me. A presence who wanted me to survive. A voice told me to get up and get help, or someone else would die.
Yeah, that's true if you think about it. I mean, using that as motivation.
But this is a 15-year-old girl who was just brutally raped and sodomized, had her arms chopped off, and thrown down a 30-foot embankment. How does this bitch have the wherewithal to think, like, I have to save someone else's life right now?
Yeah, as a 15-year-old, that would not have been the first thing on my mind, probably.
It 100% would not have been even a fleeting thought on my mind.
And I mean, maybe we were just, like, selfish 15-year-olds, but I don't know.
Feel like you have to be very selfless to go through all that shit and still be thinking about somebody else.
Yeah. It takes a special kind of person.
A bad bitch, if you will.
Yes, for sure.
So what did this bad bitch do next? She packs what's left of her arms in mud and dirt, and she did this to slow the bleeding and keep the muscles from falling out of her arm. And then, after she does that, she climbs all the way back up that 30-foot embankment. With no arms. She's also naked.
See, but, like I said earlier, I thought she did this with no arms whatsoever.
I mean, but she can't do anything with her arms.
Yeah, it's still very impressive. I'm just saying, like, this whole time, I've been thinking that she did it, like, severed at the shoulders.
Right. Correct.
Like, I thought she was, like, crawling, using her chin, inchworming up the side of this highway.
My thought is she probably did, because she had to keep her arms above her head the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. I guess, in theory, you could go up backwards. That would probably be my method, to just, like, scoot backwards up it.
I feel like that would be very difficult, though, because you would be inclined to put your hands behind you.
That's true, because you would be scared of falling forward.
Yeah.
So you would want to brace yourself from behind. Yeah, I don't know how I would go about that.
It took her almost a full day. I'm pretty sure, because he threw her over in the morning, and it talks about when she gets to the top, a lot of the articles talked about it being daylight, like morning time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it took her a full day.
Nobody saw her?
She was 30 feet off the road. Straight down.
That's just crazy. Sorry, I was yawning.
No, you're fine. But she climbs all the way back up this and is walking down this... it's rural road. I almost said abandoned because my brain just automatically tries to replace rural because I don't like saying it. So I was like abandoned, but it wasn't fucking abandoned. So the first car to drive past Mary was a red convertible with 2 men in it. And when they saw Mary, they stomped on the gas and drove away.
Which is so sad.
It is very, very sad. But Mary herself has said that she doesn't blame them. Because I'm not going to lie to you. If I was driving on the highway and I saw a girl covered in blood with no fucking arms, butt-ass naked, covered in dirt, I would probably think it was the devil.
I would probably drive away because I was scared, but then I would come back. Yes. Because I feel like then once I, like, got my bearings or whatever, I'd be like, okay, she probably needed help. We should go help her.
Yes. Because it would be like I would have to convince myself that it was actually an injured woman and not Satan himself. Yeah. Thankfully, though, the second couple who sees her, they pull over and they save her and they drive her to the hospital, you know. So, in the hospital, immediately after, She immediately starts working with sketch artists to get a sketch. Immediately, right off the gate. She's like, let's fucking get this dude. Couldn't be me.
She has so much drive as a 15-year-old. That's so crazy. Yeah.
Couldn't be me. I wish it was me, but could not be me.
I mean, unless she was just trying to keep her adrenaline going.
Maybe. But she even, like, said, she was like, oh, I'm not going to sleep until we finish this sketch. And you have to think how long she has been awake. Because she was taken, like, partway through the day. And she slept a little bit in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was awake that whole night being attacked. Had her arms chopped off the next morning and was thrown down an embankment. So she was awake that whole day. And then she didn't get up to the road until either the next morning or something, you know. And then they didn't get her to the hospital. She's been awake for forever.
Could not be me.
I can barely go that long under normal circumstances without sleeping.
Yeah, I can barely go a day without sleeping. I don't think I've ever been 24 hours without sleeping because I am just, like, an asshole if I don't sleep.
I thought you were just going to say, like, I'm an asshole. I have to go to bed.
No, like, if I don't sleep, I'm just miserable.
Yeah. I think 36 is, like, the max I've ever been. I know we've talked about that in a previous episode. I think it was the Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah, because wasn't that when you passed out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So back to Mary again. Her sketch was so accurate that Lauren Singleton's neighbor saw it and was like, that's my fucking neighbor, I'm positive. It was that accurate.
That's insane.
Yeah. So Mary's parents come to get her, obviously. But Mary has said that they weren't much help to her because, according to her, they couldn't handle it. And according to her, she thought that they took it even harder than she did. And she said, I'm telling them I need you, but they can't do it. They were more interested in what they felt about what happened to me than what I felt.
Oh, that's sad.
That makes me so sad.
So she essentially had to deal with it, like, by herself.
Yes. And it didn't say whether her siblings stepped up or anything, but there was still obviously a very big gap between her and her parents. But she's still just out here, like, in all this, like, badassery. Within 2 weeks of the attack, she was using prosthetics.
That's wild.
And she considers herself a tinkerer. She pulled parts from broken electronics and, like, fridges and radios to modify her prosthetics into custom designs. She actually has even created a custom design for herself to go bowling with.
That's crazy. I would not even know where to begin.
Yeah, I was reading about it. It's, like, crazy. Like, it's like a foam cylinder or something that goes in, like, the finger holes. Mm-hmm. And she, like, presses a button or she does something and it releases. Like, it has a quick release feature. So she can, like, actually go bowling.
Okay, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I was like... Well,
who would think of that, though?
Someone with no arms.
I guess.
Like, I really do not think about the luxuries that I have until I try to think about doing absolutely anything without my hands.
Yeah.
I could genuinely do nothing. Not even this podcast. I'm holding my phone with my hands.
I could figure it out. I could probably use my feet for a lot of things.
Yeah, but you have to think about how impractical that is.
I think it was my grandma went to school with somebody that didn't have arms or something. But, yeah, it was my grandma. And she always told me that this kid who sat next to her didn't have arms. And he would do his schoolwork with his feet. Like, he would write.
That's, like, badass, though. Like, I used to think I was a little badass when I was a kid, and I would clean my room with my feet.
What?
Have I never told you that?
No.
Yeah, like, when my room was messy, I would, like, put the clothes in, like, the baskets with my toes.
Why was this, like, an extreme feat for you?
I was just excited. I was, like, 5.
Oh, okay. I guess if you're that young.
I was just excited to be doing shit. I don't know. You're really coming for me this evening. You're really roasting me alive.
Remember, life got harder when you...
Apparently. I make your life so hard. So 6 months after the attack, Mary testified against Singleton in his trial. And that was March of 1979. She went on stand and told the jury everything. Every single thing that happened in detail, she explained it to the jury. So she had to relive that 6 months after it happened. So she got, like, no time to heal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, mentally heal. Obviously, her body was healing, but...
Because don't they, in situations like that, have the option to have somebody else, like, testify for them?
I think it's typically they can, like, write a statement, I think.
Yeah, like, you don't have to appear in person, but your story still gets told?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I would just do that.
But you have to think about the impact it would have for her to go with her new prosthetics and look the jury in the face as a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that is what got him convicted, right there.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I'm sure as soon as she walked in there, they were like, all right.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously, Singleton was found guilty. He was found guilty of attempted murder, rape, mayhem, and forced oral copulation. But, of course, the justice system being the justice system in 79, he got the maximum sentence. Do you know how long it was?
I'm sure I don't want to know.
Would you like to guess?
30 years.
14.
That's it?
14 years. And that was the maximum sentence that he could get, was 14 years.
For attempted murder?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is mayhem? What does that mean?
I'm actually not sure. Let me look. Mayhem, as defined by Wikipedia, is a common law criminal offense consisting of the intentional maiming of another person.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, it makes sense. I just didn't know the name of it.
Yeah.
So, when Mary had to leave the trial, she obviously had to walk past Singleton. And he told Mary, I will finish this job if it takes me the rest of my life.
That is bold as fuck.
In the courtroom. Looked her in her face and said that.
I would have punched him in the face with my robot hand.
I was gonna say, she doesn't have any fucking arms.
Good. It would probably hurt worse.
Exactly. I was gonna say, I would hit him even harder.
Yeah, it would probably hurt worse.
As Singleton is in prison, multiple psychiatrists at the San Quentin prison reported he was paranoid personality, severe, that's one quote, schizoid, and capable of angry and destructive outburst on those weaker than him. That was what his psychiatrist said at the San Quentin prison. This was multiple psychiatrists.
I have never heard anything like that, like any description like that ever.
So you wanna know what the prison did?
What?
They released him 6 years early for good behavior. So he served 8 years.
What does it matter how good his behavior is after he did the bad thing?
That's my fucking thing. Like, why do people get released from prison for good behavior? Motherfucker, you ain't got another choice.
Yeah. Like, what can you do that's bad?
Because, first of all, if you do the wrong shit in prison, 1, a guard's gonna beat your ass. 2, another inmate's gonna beat your ass. You don't have another option.
Yeah.
You take someone out of their free life and you put them in a completely structured, around-the-clock, like, prison system. Obviously, they're going to fucking act right.
I mean, they might not, but, like, more likely.
Right, like, the average criminal. I don't know. The average criminal.
Like, it's sad that I could go murder somebody. Obviously, I don't want to, but I could go murder somebody. And then possibly, like, get out of jail. Like, yeah. If I just act right. Mm-hmm. That's so bad.
My stance is I could get sexually assaulted today. And odds are whoever attacked me would never face jail time. But if someone got picked up with a gram of weed, they're definitely going to jail.
Which is awful.
Yes. The justice system definitely needs some reform.
Yeah.
Because there are people out there for marijuana charges who are serving longer than this 14 years that Singleton got.
Yeah, which is absolutely horrible.
Like, we need to focus on the people that are out here murdering people and hurting people. And
this is, like, not having to do with the case, but, like, talking about weed being legal. So, if weed is ever made completely legal in the United States, are all of those people let go?
I don't think so.
That's so bad.
Exactly.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, so we are spending taxpayer money to feed people who shouldn't be in jail. And then the people who should be in jail are out here fucking around.
Yeah, I'm just mad now.
Yes. So obviously people are fucking outraged that he's out of jail, and 2, that he's released on good behavior. So the Singleton bill was drafted, which actually changed the law in California. It stops the early release of perpetrators who commit a crime involving torture. And obviously Mary Vincent was a strong supporter of this bill. So the minimum sentence of a crime involving torture in the state of California is now 25 years.
That's still not long enough.
It's still not long enough, no.
But
that's
that is
better. Minimum, because he got maximum of 14.
Yeah, that's definitely better, but it's not great.
Yeah. And Mary also won a civil judgment against Singleton for $2.5 million. But she, of course, never got any of that money because he was an unemployed piece of shit.
I thought how it worked was that, like, somebody else gave you the money, and then it was like he then owed the other person the money.
I don't think so, because who would have given her the money?
Like the court or something. Or, like, I always thought that it was, like, some third party gives the person the money, and then, like, he now owes the third party money. Oh, okay. I feel like that would be a good system.
It would be, but no one's willing to loan out money like that because they know odds are they won't get it back.
Yeah, that's true.
So after Singleton is released from prison, Mary starts having nightmares again, obviously. And it was said on one occasion she broke her own ribs from jolting awake so forcefully. She has also dislocated her shoulder, and she has smashed her nose.
That's terrible.
And when Singleton actually left the prison, he had to move to Florida because all of the citizens of California were very aware of what he'd done, and they made it very aware that they were not fucking okay with him being there.
Good. I would need GPS on him at all points of time.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Numerous protests of his parole were staged all across California. They were like, we do not want this motherfucker here.
Good.
And some of the signs that they would carry around said, "Drop dead Larry" and "Get the maniac out." Which, valid. Point blank period.
I just immediately thought of how people were like, oh, Jeffrey Bezos, leave him in space. Yes. Or is it Jeffrey Bezos?
I think so.
Or was it Elon?
No, it was Jeffrey Bezos because Elon Musk was making fun of him for it.
Oh, yeah. Leave him in space. Kick him out.
So, he got released early on good behavior. What does he do then?
Is he gonna go do something to somebody else?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever heard this before. Mm-hmm.
In Sulphur Springs, Florida, in 1997, Singleton murdered Roxanne Hayes, a 31-year-old mother of 3. He stabbed her to death with a boning knife in his house.
I bet the court feels real bad now.
I bet they fucking don't, because they don't give a shit about anyone but themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a little harsh, but...
I can only hope that they would feel bad.
Literally. This is why I'm not a cop, because I couldn't make decisions like this. Cop, lawyer, judge, couldn't do any of it. I don't ever want to be on a jury.
You might have to at some point.
I know. I'm going to get it one day, and I'm going to be mad.
What are the stipulations for jury duty? Like, how can you get out of that?
I don't know. I'm going to find out, though. No, if I got summoned for jury duty, I'd obviously do it, but... What, Giggles?
I keep wanting to say some dumb shit.
Say some dumb shit. Ain't nobody stopping you.
I was going to say, does being transgender get me out of that? Because I feel like that gets me out of a lot of things. It really does, though. It gets me out of so much shit that I don't want to do.
Can I not do jury duty because I'm trans? I'm begging.
Like the draft? Don't gotta do that. That's nice.
True.
I feel like there's other things, but I can't think of them right now.
But I mean, if you were a cis woman, you wouldn't have had to do the draft.
I thought women did have to do the draft.
I don't think so. I hope not.
For some reason, I thought they were gonna, like, make that a thing.
Oh, yeah. No, women don't have to. Just because Congress hasn't done anything about it.
Oh, okay.
Because the law specifically refers to male persons.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I got out of it. So.
True.
Either way, I was out of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, me too, because my mental health is not letting me be in the Army.
Do you remember the day we had that conversation? Because I was like, oh, why can't you be depressed and go into the military? And you were like, oh, yeah, give a depressed person a gun. That's a good idea. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I yelled at you.
Yes, you did yell at me.
I'm not, like, being mean or anything. I was like, oh, yeah, give the depressed person a gun and fucking put him under pressure. See what happens. Okay, so back to Singleton now. He was arrested at the scene of the crime, which was his house, and he was covered in blood because a neighbor that was walking by, or like somebody was walking by. I can't remember if it was like a neighbor or a postman or somebody was walking by. And they happened to look over and they saw him stabbing her through the window.
So he, like, threw all caution to the wind. It was
yes.
just like, all right, I'm just going to do this.
Yes.
And if anybody sees, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. They were on a date, Roxanne and Singleton.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And they went back to his house and he fucking killed her.
Did he have any reason? Or was
he didn't have any reason for attacking Mary.
I don't understand why people do the things that they do.
That's why I'm so obsessed with true crime, is because I want to know. I'm like, what the fuck makes you want to do that? I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
You are interested.
I'm very interested, but, like, I personally am not interested. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to know what makes you act like that, but I could never act like that.
Yeah.
So when Mary hears about this, immediately she says, I'm testifying in that trial. And she does. The state of Florida flies her down, and she once again tells the jury everything he did to her. Good.
More power to her.
Exactly. And this was also the first time that she had seen him since the first trial, which it had been almost 20 years.
I'm sure that was still just as rough.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I have goosebumps thinking about it. Do you see this?
Yes, I do.
And she said she was not surprised because he had taken her life 19 years earlier. Her words were, he really did. He destroyed everything about me. My way of thinking, my way of life, holding on to innocence, and I'm still doing everything I can to hold on.
That's so sad.
And she also stated that he stole her dream of being a dancer because after her attack, they had to take some parts of her leg to save her right arm.
Oh.
And that has left her unable to dance ever again. So at this trial, Singleton was convicted and sentenced to death for first-degree murder. And he ended up dying in prison of cancer in 2001. And Mary and her 2 children, even now, still do not use his name. They only say, like, my attacker or, like, mom's attacker or Mary's attacker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she has never used his name, and she says she never will. Now, I just want to talk about the advocacy that Mary has done for, like, victims all over.
Okay.
In 1998, Mary went to Washington, D.C. to testify in favor of a bill called No Second Chances for Murderers, Rapists, or Child Molesters Act. First of all, that's a long-ass name for a bill.
Yeah.
Mary shared details of her attack and how Singleton's lenient sentence allowed him to kill Roxanne Hayes. But, unfortunately, because, like the justice system, Congress is Congress, they didn't do anything with it and the bill died.
Are you serious?
Yep. And in 2009, she spoke at a crime victims event in Ventura County, California, and she shared some of her artwork because she has become an artist since the accident. I do believe cool. I mentioned that at the very beginning, but I'll talk a little more about it. And she used to advocate at schools, but one little shithead boy in an audience started yelling obscenities at her, something that she said was a personal dark attack. She wouldn't say what he said, just that it was a personal dark attack. So she no longer does school appearances. I hope somebody jumped him. I hope somebody punched him in the fucking mouth.
Yeah, I also hope that. Yeah, kids are fucking terrible.
So Mary is now 58 years old. She has 2 sons. And it had posted where she lived, but I'm just not going to put that out there.
Yeah, what?
I feel like that shit ain't right.
I feel like you find so many addresses in your research.
I really do.
That shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. Like, the Cincinnati Strangler had, like, all the way down to, like, apartment numbers.
Yeah.
And that was really sketch because that was, like, I knew where those apartments were.
I mean, addresses are, like, public knowledge, but that's just weird.
But still, I'm not going to hand it out.
Yeah. Especially when it's, like, that high profile of a person that lives there.
Exactly. And then another reason why I won't share it is Mary doesn't like any exposure to the media or anything.
Which is fair.
Because she says she's worried she will regress in her healing process. Which I get goosebumps thinking about because you know that shit is hard.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
After finishing high school, Mary traveled around looking for a place to create her own life, and she moved to Gig Harbor, which is in Washington State. And it is said that she loves Lord of the Rings and refers to herself as a hobbit at home, which I fucking felt that, girl. I fucking felt that. And she loves to read, specifically science fiction. And her favorite author is, I believe it's Piers Anthony. Piers.
Yeah, that sounds right. Piers.
I think so. And this is a quote from Mary. It says, she's always wanting to serve, looking after everybody, cooking things. That's my therapy, as well as knowing everything has a way of working itself out. It says Mary now finds joy in hope, her children, art, and her faith.
Oh. Well, that's good. I'm glad that everything still kind of worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously life isn't perfect, but...
And I'm glad you said that because Mary also credits her being an artist completely to her accident. She said, I couldn't draw a straight line, even with a ruler. I would mess it up. This is something that woke up after the attack, and my artwork has inspired me and given me self-esteem.
That's pretty cool.
She likes to use chalk pastels to create powerfully upbeat women. She also draws family and individual portraits on commission. And she likes to portray women as female action figures. And she says they may be scantily clad, but are all self-assured and ready to fight.
I was actually going to ask you what kind of art she did, so thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome. And I have, this kind of goes back to what me and you were talking about earlier about, like, sexual assault. It's a quote from Rain, R-A-I-N-N. And it says, out of every 1,000 reported sexual assaults, only 230 are reported to police, and 46 will lead to an arrest. 995 will go free. Less than 0.5% of reported rapes will lead to a conviction and incarceration. Perpetrators of sexual violence are still the least likely type of convicted criminal to serve prison time. And that is now, like, to today's standards.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, it's... Sorry, I was looking at the page I got it from. It's rain.org. Rain with 2 N's.org. Because they have, it's, like, different, like, out of every 1,000 sexual assaults, and it tells you, like, it breaks it down, and then it does the same for robberies, and it does the same for assault and battery.
Okay. And
sexual assaults are literally half of robbery and assault and battery crimes reported. Out of every 1,000, only 310 are reported to police for sexual assaults, which is a little bit higher than what was in my notes, because I went and looked at the website myself instead of what I found somewhere else.
I feel like sexual assault should be above robbery.
Yes.
Just saying.
I would much rather someone take my shit than touch my body.
Yeah. Like, I feel like they should do more about that.
Yes.
Than robbery.
Yes.
Like, I can live without my shit.
Yeah. I have home insurance for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Not to say that they shouldn't do shit about robbery, but, like, I'm saying they need to step up in sexual assault cases.
People's bodies are more important than people's shit.
Yes.
And that is all I have to say on that.
And cut. That's where I'm ending my story.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it there because I think you summed it up quite nice, buddy. Okay, guys, we're back. We had to stop for pizza. Now I think JT's going to tell us a good story.
AK, I'm going to be telling you about very sciencey things that I might end up just, like, paraphrasing, because when I was rereading my notes earlier, I was like, wow, that's a little too sciencey for me to explain. It was just, like, a lot of fluffy science stuff that nobody would even understand.
Gotcha. So it's a good thing I had my pizza for my, like, brain fuel?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm going to be talking about multiple timeline / multiple universe theory or multiverse theory.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Great.
It took me a second to understand which Spider-Man you were talking about, but yes.
Isn't it Into the Multiverse?
I think so.
Cool.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, you're correct. So, the multiverse is a hypothetical group of multiple universes. Together, these universes comprise everything that exists, the entirety of space, time, matter, energy, information, and the physical laws and constraints that describe them. The different universes within the multiverse are called parallel universes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's, like, how that, like, laid out.
What do you mean?
Like, I just didn't know that, like, all of those correlated together. I thought, like, parallel universes and, like, multiple timelines and all that, I thought they were all, like, the same thing with just, like, a different name.
More or less. They all...
because you said it's, like, it, like, breaks down. I thought they all were all the same thing.
Yeah, it breaks down, but they're pretty much... They all have to do with the same thing.
Yeah. I just thought they were, like, synonyms.
Oh, no.
Learning shit already.
So, as always, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the history, very briefly, just like where it's mentioned, people who talked about it. So, early recorded examples of the idea of infinite worlds existed in the philosophy of ancient Greek atomism, which proposed that infinite parallel worlds arose from the collision of atoms.
I really thought it was going to be something Jesus-y.
No.
Like Adam and Eve.
No.
Feel real
different atom. So they're essentially saying that it went back to, like, the Big Bang.
Got it.
Which we'll talk about that again later.
Mm-hmm.
In the 3rd century BCE, the philosopher Chrysippus, I think that's how you say that.
What was he?
Chrysippus.
No, like, what was he?
Oh, a philosopher.
The philosopher croissant.
Oh, I just always want to read it as Crispius for some reason.
The crispiest motherfucker.
So, philosopher Chrysippus suggested that the world eternally expired and regenerated. What?
Philosopher Crispy Fish said what?
You can't be making me laugh.
Sorry.
He suggested that the world eternally expired and regenerated, effectively suggesting the existence of multiple universes across time. The concept of multiple universes became more defined in the Middle Ages. So what he was essentially saying is that the Big Bang created our universe, but there were universes before that. So it's not necessarily saying that they exist at the same time, it's just saying that we aren't the only universe. That was his theory.
Was his theory that, like, the Big Bang destroyed those other universes? Or it was just, like, the Big Bang wasn't related to it?
The Big Bang just created our universe. So that was, like, the regeneration.
Right. So if it was the regeneration, did it, like, if there was other universes, did it destroy them to create ours?
I don't know. I don't know if something else destroyed it or if the Big Bang destroyed it. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of these theories that we're going to talk about are, like, they're all a little bit different. Like, that one suggests that instead of the universes existing at the same time, they existed at different points in time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about, like, how some people think that the Big Bang created multiple universes and how there's multiple universes that exist over top of ours. Like, they're all a little bit different.
Okay, yeah.
In Dublin in 1952, Erwin Schrödinger gave a lecture in which he jokingly warned his audience that what he was about to say might seem lunatic. He said that when his equations seemed to describe several different histories, these were not alternatives, but all happening simultaneously. This sort of duality is called superposition. So that was the first talk of, like, there's multiple universes that are happening within ours.
And what was it called?
Superposition.
Got it. Okay. Just so my brain knows for later.
The term multiverse was first used in fiction and in its current physics context by Michael Moorcock in his 1963 science fiction adventure novel, The Sundred Worlds. This novel is a part of the Eternal Champion series. And I mentioned that because I wanted to read, like, a little thing about his books.
I thought you were going to say, because I want to read you the book.
No.
I was like, wait a damn minute.
I wanted to read, like, a little thing about his books just because I thought they sounded interesting. So, many of Moorcock's novels and short stories take place in a shared multiverse, which is an array of interconnected parallel universes, many layered dimensions, spheres, and alternative worlds spanning from the Big Bang to the end of time and from Earth to faraway galaxies. The Eternal Champion, which is from the book series, is an appointed paladin of balance who is bound to exist in each and every world and age of the multiverse, so that law and chaos are perpetually kept in check. And I wrote a note, I said it kind of sounds like Star Wars and also the Avengers.
You said paladin, so I thought of World of Warcraft.
I was thinking about the first description where it was talking about parallel universes and multiple dimensions. That's where I got, like, the Avengers from.
I'm still getting World of Warcraft out of that, buddy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't help that I main a paladin.
That's true. In terms of references in movies, Into the Spider-Verse is the first one on there. So you got it right.
I'm pretty sure I said multiverse instead of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you just said Into the Multiverse.
Yeah.
Same difference. Other movies include The Terminator.
I've never seen The Terminator.
Really?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I feel like everyone and their mother has seen The Terminator, and I just haven't. I feel like I'm the only person that hasn't.
It's okay. The new one is really good.
I haven't seen any of them.
We should watch them. We can add it to our movie list that we've made no progress on.
Our 14-page long movie list?
Yes. Phineas and Ferb, which I thought was a really weird pull, but I was like, okay. Star Trek Sliding Doors, which I don't know what that is.
I've never seen any of the Star Treks either.
I haven't either.
I've seen Phineas and Ferb.
I have seen Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb is banging.
Back to the Future and, of course, the Avengers. We already mentioned the Avengers.
I live for the Avengers.
Yes.
I think I've seen Back to the Future once.
I saw it once a long time ago.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am.
And I don't remember anything.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure any knowledge I know of it is from listening to And That's Why We Drink.
Listening to Em talk about it? So are we ready to go deeper in depth with it?
Yep, take me there.
The theory of multiple universes has been hypothesized in cosmology, physics, astronomy, religion, philosophy, transpersonal psychology, music, and all kinds of literature.
So fucking everything.
Yeah, it's essentially been mentioned everywhere.
All right, got it.
Particularly in science fiction, comic books, fantasy, and horror.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense.
Howard Wiseman said that the best way to describe parallel universes is to consider them as ghost universes that exist in the same space as the universe that we know of. These universes, however, are invisible since they interact with our universe under strict conditions.
So they're just like laying over top of each other?
Yeah, this is if you were going with the theory that is essentially like multiple timeline theory.
Mm-hmm. Where like everything is happening concurrently?
Yeah, where it's like there is multiple universes that are existing in the same space as us.
Mm-hmm.
Like how I said we're going to talk about kind of all over the place with different theories.
Yeah.
Wiseman explained that the interactions between the universes are very minute and use a force that interacts between similar particles in each of the universes. This explains why we cannot feel or notice them, although these are enough to provide explanation for quantum mechanics. So I was going to talk about it later, and this is one of the things that I was saying that I might cut out because it's too sciencey and nobody would understand or probably really care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's saying about interactions between similar particles in each universe, there's an experiment that they did with photons.
Which are, you told me, light particles, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And essentially, photons prove multiple universe theory a little bit because they can exist as both a particle and a wave,
mm-hmm.
which is something that's really different. Like, pretty much nothing else can do that.
Right.
And that helps to prove multiple universe theory because it proves that something can exist in two states at the same time.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. It didn't the first time you tried to explain it to me, but it makes sense now.
Yeah, because I think I got too sciencey with it.
Gotcha.
And I was explaining to you the experiment, which makes no sense if you've never, like, seen a visual representation of it before.
Right.
I saw it in high school. I don't know what class or why, but I remember seeing it.
You see, I took the minimum amount of science classes possible and also the easiest ones possible. Or, well, what I thought was going to be easy, and then I took chemistry and my teacher was a bitch and didn't teach me anything, so...
I was unfortunately in all, like, advanced science classes, so...
Do you need 3 or 4 science credits to graduate?
3. But I took 4.
I was trying to think about how many I took. Because I had the same teacher twice, and then I had a different teacher. I think I did only take 3 science classes.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And I think it was biology, honors biology, and then chemistry.
So you took honors biology, so you didn't take the easiest one.
I specifically took it for the teacher, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Or it might not have been... I know I took honors biology, but I might not have taken 2 biology courses. I'm about to text my best friend from high school and ask her. Be like, bitch, do you remember what classes I took? Because I don't know.
Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
If I have to. If I can't dwell on the past anymore.
We're going to move kind of in a different direction. So...
From my biology classes?
Well, yes.
Oh, okay. I guess we have to. I'll allow it.
This is going to be talking about not universes existing over top of ours, but universes existing around ours, kind of.
Like, completely separate from us or literally around us?
What do you mean?
I don't know, because when you said that, I just pictured other planets.
No, not like around us, but like at the edge of our universe, there's like another one. If you were to find the edge of our universe. I'll just explain it.
Okay.
Around 13.7 billion years ago, everything we know of was in infinitesimal singularity. I almost tripped over that word, and I didn't. I'm proud of myself.
I'm very proud of you, darling.
According to the Big Bang Theory, it burst into action, inflating faster than the speed of light in all directions for a tiny fraction of a second. Before 10 seconds of a second passed, the universe had exploded outward to 10 to the 26 power times its original size in a process called cosmic inflation. And that is all before the actual expansion of matter that we usually think of as the Big Bang itself, which was the consequence of the inflation. As the inflation slowed, a flood of matter and radiation appeared, creating the classic Big Bang fireball, and begun to form atoms, molecules, stars, and galaxies that populate the vastness of space. The mysterious process of inflation and the Big Bang have convinced some researchers that multiple universes are possible or even very likely. According to theoretical physicists...
Physicist?
Yes, physicist.
Got you, buddy.
I can say infinitesimal, but not physicist.
I can say physicist, but I can't say the other one, so we make a good team.
According to theoretical physicist Alexander Vilkin of Tufts University in Massachusetts, inflation did not end everywhere at the same time. While it ended for everything we can detect from Earth 13.8 billion years ago, cosmic inflation in fact continues in other places. This is called the theory of eternal inflation. And as inflation ends in a particular place, a new bubble universe forms.
So are we a bubble universe?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you say it happens other places, does that mean like outside of our universe or just outside of our solar system?
So I'm pretty sure what it's saying is like the process of inflation. So our universe was created by the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Well, then once everything spread out,
mm-hmm.
it stopped in certain places. So that's like the edge of our universe. So
right.
Then it would create like a neighboring
okay, so it's
universe.
Like this is everything we know, and then the other timelines are outside of that.
Yes.
Okay, we're on the same page.
It's not even saying necessarily timelines, just like other universes. Like,
yeah. That's just how my brain comprehends it.
Yeah. Which actually is interesting. I was thinking about this kind of ties back into simulation theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if we talked about it on the show or if we talked about it separately. but like if there is an edge to our simulation, and if the Big Bang was a part of the simulation and like eternal inflation, and if the inflation was factored into that, then it would make sense because the universe would just go on forever.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've always thought of it like, well, there has to be an edge somewhere.
Right. Earth is flat and we're going to fall off of it eventually?
No, I mean that, like...
Are you going to cover that for me?
Yes.
Thank God.
I mean, like, if you were to fly into space and go forever, you would have to hit something eventually, like an edge.
Death, because it's big out there.
Well, considering that the universe expanded for 13.8 billion years, yeah.
I really don't think I'm going to make that flight, buddy.
Back to bubble universes. Those bubble universes can't contact each other because they continue to expand indefinitely. If you were to set off to the edge of our bubble, where it might butt up against the next bubble universe, we would never reach it because the edge is zipping away from us faster than the speed of light and faster than we could ever travel. I guess that just answered my question. I should have just kept reading.
So yeah, you're not reaching the end.
Yeah.
My thinking is, though, like, if they're touching, but they're both still expanding, shouldn't they overlap? Like, based only on the sentence you just read me, it said they're touching. Like, if you reach our end and it's butting up against another, but they're both still expanding, I feel like they should overlap.
Yeah, we can cut this out because I'm going to use visual representation. I almost picture them like this, and it's like they're expanding this way, but that wouldn't make sense because then technically you could just go this way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd say leave it in. Leave it in. Leave your visuals in.
So even if we could reach the next bubble, our familiar universe with its physical constraints... What?
I'm about to title this one the episode of mispronunciation.
Constraints and habitable conditions could be totally different from the bubble universe next to ours. So, like, if we were to enter the next bubble, literally, like, everything could be completely different.
It makes me think of in old cartoons when they, like, go back in time and their bodies, like...
I thought you were going to say in their bodies, like, go into black and white or something. I was like, is that what's going to happen? We're going to cross the universe bubble and go into black and white?
Maybe. You know, I used to think the world was in black and white.
Like in old times?
But yeah, like, when I was a kid and I would see black and white photos, I would think the world was black and white and we just, like, evolved into color.
That makes me think of, there's an episode of The Amazing World of Gumball where Gumball is talking to his mom and... Oh, what does he say? He's like, oh, like when you were a kid, when the world was in black and white and you could leave your front door open.
Okay, but literally, me and my dad used to be able to sleep with our front door open, and now you can't do that.
We live in the ghetto. You wouldn't want to do that anyway.
Yeah, but it should be safe, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't be ghetto. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to say ghetto anymore.
What? Is that, like, not PC or something?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I feel like the hood is worse.
Yeah, the hood is worse.
We should probably just say a bad neighborhood, but whatever.
It's not that bad.
It's really not. Someone did steal our lawnmower, though. I'm still salty about that.
Are we ready to move on?
I guess. I don't know what I'm doing with my headphones either.
Some physicists believe in a flatter version of multiple universes. That is, if the universe that we live in goes on forever... There's only so many ways that the building blocks of matter can arrange themselves as they assemble across infinite space. Eventually, any finite number of particle types must repeat a single arrangement. Hypothetically, in a big enough space, those particles must repeat arrangements as large as entire solar systems and galaxies. So your entire life might be repeated elsewhere in the universe, down to what you ate for breakfast.
Oh, I don't like that idea. But when you first started talking, I'm about to derail you again, sorry. When you first started talking, I really thought you were going to be like, take it into, since the world's expanding, it's like stretching, and it was like, eventually the earth will be flat.
No, that's not where I was
Because you said
going.
something about flat. You just said the word flat when you started talking, and I was like, it's going to be a fucking flat earther.
Oh, I said that physicists believe in a flatter version of multiple universes.
Yes. I thought you were going to say in a flatter version of the earth, and I was like, please let it go.
The pressure of the expanding universe is going to make all of the planets flat.
It's going to fucking smush us like a bug.
We will just become 2D.
Thank God.
What would be great about that?
I don't know. I just feel like it might be better.
Guess that was all I had about that. I literally have like 2 paragraphs about this theory, and then it just says, back to the Big Bang.
You're right. Back to the big fucking bang.
If you can't tell, I did these notes quite a while ago, so I don't really, remember what I have written.
What the fuck they said.
So back to the Big Bang. In a relatively recent addition to the multiple universe theory, researchers from the Premier Institute for Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Ontario, have proposed that the universe began at the Big Bang and on the opposite side of the Big Bang timeline, stretching backwards in time. A universe once existed that was the exact mirror image of our own. Instead of saying there was a different universe before the bang, we are saying that the universe before the bang is actually, in some sense, an image of the universe after the bang. And
so, the bang recreated us?
I think so, yeah.
That's what I took out of it. I was just making sure that I understood.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I feel like it's almost like the Big Bang destroyed the previous timeline, but also, resurrected it and created ours.
Right. That's kind of what I was getting at.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So does that mean when we inevitably kill this planet, there's going to be another Big Bang and it's just going to start us over?
The Big Bang doesn't have to do with just Earth. Because the Big Bang created everything.
Yeah, we're going to destroy it all.
I mean, yeah.
We're killing the Earth. We're trying to go to Mars. We're going to work on that one, too.
Yeah, we're going to kill all the planets.
Mm-hmm.
So if this were true, that means that everything, protons, electrons, even actions like cracking an egg would be reversed. Antiprotons and positively charged electrons would make up atoms, while eggs would uncrack themselves and make their way back into chickens.
I hate that idea.
Eventually, that universe would shrink down, presumably into a singularity, before expanding into our universe. Again, I should have just kept reading because we would have had the answer to our question.
Listen, I'm not very patient.
Seen another way, both universes were created at the Big Bang and exploded simultaneously forward and backwards. So that theory could go either way.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about time travel. I feel like I've really been jumping all over the place, but everything has, so much information about it if I were to just, go on about one topic that I wanted to branch out and talk about a bunch of things. So I apologize if I'm jumping all over the place.
It's all good, buddy. We're all here for a good time.
If there are indeed multiple universes that interact with each other, it would make time travel possible. It also means that every imaginable scenario is possible in a parallel universe at the same point, such that in some universes, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs missed the Earth, and Texas could be a sovereign nation and not part of the United States.
Don't they try to do that, once a year?
Probably.
I think California tries to do that, too.
Probably. Multiple timelines would make time travel possible because it would allow things to change. If you went back in time and killed your grandpa, you would be creating a new branch timeline where your grandpa didn't exist, where in the main timeline that you came from, your grandpa would still exist. Therefore, that is why you can exist.
I don't like that. That, totally disrupts the whole butterfly effect thing.
Oh, I, totally believe that. That's where my introduction to multiple universe theory started, was with multiple timeline theory, and I, totally believe that could be true.
I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Because
Really?
I've always heard of, the butterfly effect. If you go back and you, fuck some shit up, you're gonna fuck everything up.
I've always heard both, but I feel like this one is more logical.
Maybe I will jump ship and join you.
Just because I feel like there is a possibility that time travel could already exist, and if it did, we would all be screwed. Because if somebody, if you did go by the typical, butterfly effect, if you interact with something, then it ruins everything, we would be screwed. Because if somebody went back in time, immediately everything would be ruined.
Right, yeah, the world would just be constantly changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would know about it.
Right. What if we didn't, though?
They would have to be really good at what they were doing.
No, I mean, what if the world was changing, but our memory just, rewrote itself?
I don't know. I feel like that's a lot more complicated than multiple universes.
Yeah, that was just where my brain went. I'm just out here to give you a crisis.
Well, you're not going to. I'm standing to my beliefs. This is the one thing that I have very strong beliefs about, and I don't know why I chose this thing.
You said no, motherfucker. It's real.
I don't know why I've latched onto this one thing so hard.
That's me with the thought that rocks are soft. That's a hill I'll die on.
I love that my dad just brought that up in casual conversation the other day.
We're going to be on vacation. He's going to be like, you see that rock? You think it's soft?
Literally.
You think we can sneak up on it?
I feel like they're going to get so far behind in listening to episodes that they're going to reference previous episodes and we're not going to know what they're talking about.
We're going to end up listening on the drive to vacation.
Oh my gosh. I can't listen to my voice for that long. I can barely listen to my voice long enough to edit the podcast, let alone listen again. We're jumping ship from the timeline thing. We're talking about something else now.
Wait, I thought we were talking about time traveling.
Yeah, I said everything I wanted to say about that. Unless you want to talk more about it, we can.
No, it's okay. I'll just make you give me a whole, PowerPoint lesson about it later.
I mean, do you have any questions? I'm sure I can answer some.
Oh, no, I just don't fucking know anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not your fault. I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. I threw this in here just because I thought it was really interesting. Some physicists say that the multiple universe theory is not a legit topic of scientific inquiry. Concepts.
I'm really about to name this episode the episode of mispronunciation.
Concerns have been raised about whether attempts to exempt the multiverse from experimental verification could erode public confidence in science and ultimately damage the study of fundamental physics. Some have argued that the multiverse is a... Why couldn't I read the word philosophical? Some have argued that the multiverse is a philosophical notion rather than a scientific hypothesis because it cannot be empirically falsified. The ability to disprove a theory by means of scientific experiment has always been part of the accepted scientific method. Paul Steinhardt has famously argued that no experiment can rule out a theory if the theory provides for all possible outcomes.
That was a lot of big words, but I think I know what you're saying.
Do you want me to simplify it for you?
Sure.
So, essentially, people are saying that it shouldn't be talked about because then people won't believe in science because of how loose the theory is. Because it's kind of like simulation theory where it can't be...
disproven?
Yeah.
Got it.
No experiment can prove it wrong, but no experiment can prove that it is
right.
Yeah, that it's right.
Got it. Okay.
So, if people knew about multiple timeline theory, multiple universe theory, it might, erode their faith in science.
You were just going to say erode their face.
No.
And I was like, damn,
what? Their faith.
I was like, shit,
science.
Wait a minute.
I think it's interesting, though, that they, want to change it to be a philosophical problem instead of a scientific hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they just want to eliminate it from science completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. For my conclusion, I have a very long quote.
I can't wait.
Very long quote. I'm sure I will mispronounce everything.
Thank God. Keep the theme strong.
For a start, how is the universe... I already messed up.
How is the universe? That's it. That's the whole quote. Cut the episode. We're done.
That wasn't even the word. For a start, how is the existence of the universe to be tested? To be sure, all cosmologists accept that there are some regions of the universe that lie beyond the reach of our telescopes. But somewhere on the slippery slope between that and the idea that there is an infinite number of universes, credibility reaches a limit. As one slips down that slope, more and more must be accepted on faith, and less is open to scientific verification. Extreme multiverse explanations are therefore reminiscent of theological discussions, indeed invoking an infinity of unseen universes to explain the unusual features of the one we do see is just as ad hoc as invoking an unseen creator. The multiverse theory may be dressed up in scientific language, but in essence it requires the same leap of faith. And that was a quote from Paul Davis of the New York Times.
You know, that quote wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, but we made it 14 times longer than it needed to be.
Well, considering that I reread half of it 10 times.
I know, the people don't get to enjoy that. Unless they're on Patreon, because I saved it for the blooper reel. You did good, buddy. I learned a lot.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Or anything that you want to talk about?
I just think it's a lot. It's very sciencey.
Yeah.
The whole 9 is very sciencey. Derailing right here, right now. Have you noticed how I say the whole 9 on the podcast 25-8?
No.
I say it so much. I was re-listening to our episodes at work the other day, and I was like, why the fuck do I say that on the podcast so much? I never say that in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only say it on the podcast.
I haven't noticed it.
You're going to hear it. You're going to hear me say it all the time now. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? I have no idea why I say it on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know what it's from.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody that says that. Like, in our life, I can't think of anybody that says that.
Yeah, I really don't know where I got that. Unlocked a core memory from my childhood or something.
Maybe.
In like 6 months, my mom will hear this episode and like call me and be like, you know why you say that, right? And I'm like, no, I don't. Mommy, if you know why I say that, let me know.
If anybody wants me to like go further in depth about any of the topics that I talked about, like, feel free to reach out and I will. I know that I definitely bounced all over the place and didn't like go super deep. I mostly just wanted to give everybody a little bit of knowledge about like each type of theory, if that makes sense. But I would definitely be happy to go into more depth about it.
Just email us, DM us, you know, the whole nine, whatever you like.
Are you ready to take us out?
No, buddy, you haven't read me your shower thought.
Oh, no, I totally forgot. And you have one as well,
I
don't you?
have one for you.
Ooh, I have 2 really good ones.
I have 12 saved on my phone right here, right now. Don't even play.
I have a bunch too, but I have 2 that are like super good.
Let's hear it.
You want to hear both?
We'll see.
Or just one?
We'll see how good your first one is.
Oh, I was going to save the good one for second.
Well, then read the first one.
For toasters with a setting that... What? Jesus Christ. Why can't I read? Making toasters with a setting that burns toast is for some reason accepted as normal.
Because people like burnt marshmallows, so people are gonna like burnt toast as well.
No.
I know a lot of people who like burnt toast.
That's weird.
I'm not one of them, but I know a lot of people that do. I like burnt marshmallows.
Man, I had this toaster when I was a kid.
When me and you were one child, before we finally separated.
When I was a kid, and no matter what setting you put it on, your toast would be burnt, but it wouldn't be hot. It was the weirdest thing. And it would always throw your toast, like, into the next dimension out of the toaster.
I don't want to meet this toaster.
Now my parents have some weird, like, robotic toaster.
Yeah, your toaster is very serious at your parents' house.
Like, when you hit the button to, like, make it come back up, it, like... I don't even know how to describe it. It's like...
It ascends slowly out of the toaster.
Yeah, it's like an elevator. And then it makes like a weird dinging sound. I don't know.
You know, I used to make grilled cheese in the toaster.
I love that.
It's very dangerous.
They make special like sleeves that you can put your bread in.
No, you have to smash it. You lay the toaster on its side. You put a plate in front of the toaster on the counter, okay? And then you slide one piece of bread with the cheese on it on the bottom one, right? You with me?
Yeah.
And then you put the other piece in the top part of the toaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then when it spits it out, it lays them together and you have a grilled cheese.
I want to see it coming out of the toaster. Because if it could land perfectly, like, on top of each other...
Me and my uncle used to do it, and it worked.
I'm interested. That's pretty cool.
It was his toaster, though, so I don't know if, like, our toaster would be the same, because we have the cheapest toaster that they have at Walmart.
That's okay.
No, actually, we have mystery toaster, because we broke Walmart toaster.
Yeah, because I kept throwing it on the ground.
I need everyone to know he didn't do that on purpose. We used to keep it on top of the fridge, and he would knock it off the fridge. He wasn't just, like, throwing the toaster on the floor.
I mean, that might be something I would do.
Remember when you landed it in that pan of barbecue chicken? That was the best. That was the best. We had sticky toaster for a while.
So do you want my second one or no?
It depends, because I have one for you as well.
We can have 3. That's fine.
This is going to turn into a podcast about just shower thoughts.
No, it's not. No, I'll save it for next week. You go ahead.
Okay. Lamps in video games use real electricity.
What do you mean?
Because, oh man, I thought I had the like comments on it saved, but I don't. They use real electricity because the lamp on the TV is brighter than the rest of the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore it is using more energy to be a brighter color. So therefore, lamps in video games use real electricity.
That's just kind of like breaking my brain a little bit.
That's why it's a shower thought.
Yeah, I like don't even have anything to say about it because my brain's just broken.
But you can't argue with it.
Yeah, therefore, I really can't.
I win the shower thought challenge.
What do you mean you can't argue with it?
Because I found the better shower thought.
Listen, I could throw my other one out there.
But you didn't.
But I could.
But you already said you were saving it for next week, so try again.
Fine.
Okay, now I have to delete this one off my phone so I don't reuse it again.
Okay, I'll do the same.
Is that all we have?
I think that is it.
Okay. All right, we're going to go delete our shower thoughts so we don't read them to you again. You people, your homework is to go follow us on Instagram at AMLPod, on Twitter at AMLPodcast, on Facebook at All Marbles Lost Podcast. Send us an email, allmarblesLostPod@gmail.com. And this isn't homework, but if you like it, if you want some extra credit, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/AMLPod. And we will see you all next Sunday. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.